Hey guys, okay, so as you can tell by the title, I was going to do an update on my mom. We've been calling her Go Team Grandma Susie online. People have been hashtagging that. And you guys, your support has meant so much to our family and to her. And I actually talk a lot about how my mom's doing on Periscope. But I haven't really done an update on YouTube, so I thought it was time because we're at a different stage. So I actually have notes. I have her entire cancer binder. Yeah, they give you a binder apparently when you have cancer. But they actually comes with like places to put business cards and like of your doctors, and also appointment cards, and it has like explanations, and you just can keep all of your things in there. My mom didn't want to have it, but we didn't want to, like, obviously that's not information you want to throw away. She just didn't want it like in her presence, and so I've been the record keeper, although my dad has kind of taken that over. But at the start of all this, I went with my mom to everything, every appointment, everything. My dad travels a lot for business, and plus it was just kind of a shock to the family, and it was a whole ordeal, and we actually did document a lot of it. And so I'm going to link her cancer journey down below. And I have tried to make sure that every time there's a video that involves her and the cancer journey to include in that playlist. I might have missed a few, but I think it's got like the big ones. So I don't want to spend a ton of time talking about exactly what she has and going into like minute detail, because I've done that and you can watch those videos. But I'll kind of briefly just say I have the actual report here, her pathology report from the results of her biopsies when she had them. And just a brief backstory, my mom came to me and said she wanted to show me something. And we were at my house and we came in my bedroom, and she took off her bra and her shirt, and her breast was very red and inflamed. And I was like, ouch, you have a breast infection? Because, you know, I was just like, and then she was like, feel. And I felt, and it was hard, like a brick wall. I mean, it felt that hard. It felt so, and it was big. It was so big. And I was like, Mom, I was like, and she was just like, I know. And I just, you know, all these, I was like, how long have you had this? And I was like, we gotta get you to the doctor, like immediately. It took a weekend of me grumping at her, and I called my father and actually like threatened them. I was just like, you know, tell her, you know, if she doesn't make the doctor's appointment, I'm making the doctor's appointment. Dad, I want you to give me your insurance information so I can call and make the appointment. And he was like, okay. He was like, she's gonna make it. But I was like, okay, but if she doesn't make it on Monday morning, I'm doing it, and you're gonna give me the insurance. And he was like, all right, you know, trying to keep the peace. But I was just, I knew we needed to move quick, and I knew that my mom had a bad habit of avoiding situations like that. Anyway, she did though. My mom made that, she made the doctor's appointment, and I went with her, and her family doctor was concerned, and so they wanted us to go straight to was it a radiologist? I don't remember. No, an imaging center, straight to an imaging center. They couldn't fit us in that day. They fit us in, you guys, the timeline might be off here. It's in the vlogs, like I said though, but they fit us in. She had to go do the actual mammogram. She had like, there's different levels. I guess she had an extensive one where they literally, like, the machine like squeezes your breast and like twists it and does things like that. Like, it's like a crazy thing, and they wouldn't let me go back for that part. But then when they were doing the ultrasound, they had me come back. So I was in there with my mom, and I just kept patting her leg, and we have some footage of that as well in those vlogs. And the lady did an ultrasound of each of her breasts. And then she went away, and we laid there and we talked, and you know, my mom laid there, I wasn't laying. And we talked, and then they came back and they said that they needed to do an ultrasound of like her whole body, basically. And now I realize that that was a sign, like they already knew then that it was pretty much cancer, but we didn't know that at the time. And the reason they do that is because they saw that the lump in her breast was most likely cancer. So they needed to check to see if it had spread to the other organs. They wanted to do a preliminary check of the rest of her body. And that search showed nothing, but it's not, you know, they have to do a more thorough one at the hospital, but that's like kind of like the first, like, we better check everywhere type of thing. So they had us sit in a private room, And then the doctor called us into a little section where we could look at the results, and that's when they told us that she had cancer. And it was big. It was like a really big area. So anyway, blah blah blah. Flash forward, it just lots of doctor's appointments, meeting with the actual surgeon, then going to the oncologist and she had to have the biopsy, which was very painful. They had to biopsy her like lymph nodes in her armpits and her breast, and just, it's a lot that happens, and it's fast. They have to move they move quick. Like, it was just like bam, 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 bam. It was a really crazy time. And my dad was traveling more, and it was, so, I was just, I don't know, it was just a crazy time. So, her final report is what I have here, that we got towards the end of September. September 25th is when we got this, and it just said that she had invasive pleomorphic lobular carcinoma, which is just a fancy word of saying she has a type of breast cancer. And again, I really go into depth in one of the vlogs and I explain it. I even have like visuals that the doctor gave me to explain it. But basically, my mom has had a tumor in her breast, and she also had some little tumors in her lymph nodes, in her armpit next to her breast. Like, it had spread to the lymph nodes, had gotten into the lymph nodes. And it's pleomorphic, which means that some cancers, the tumors are more round or more like oval, like they're like kind of a solid shape. My mom's like spread out, like it fingered out, which is not cool and hard for surgeons if they're trying to remove just an area. In my mom's situation, they're like, we'll just take off the breast, don't worry about it. So then we had to, you know, there was a bunch that, like I said, I'm just gonna stop now. I'm gonna start going into too many details, and we've already talked for 7 minutes about all the details of this, and I didn't want to go into more of that. So there you go, you're caught up. Basically, we found out they had to do extra scans. They told us she was either stage 3 or stage 4. Breast cancer stage 4 is not curable, but you know, you can live for a while. They do things. My mom ended up being a late stage 3. Although there was a little concern because they found some spots. When it's stage 4, it means that it has spread to other organs. And my mom, like, we did not see that it had spread to any other organ. Her cancer was metastatic. That means that it had gone down to a cellular level and spread that way. So basically, it had not developed that they could see into any organs yet. But it had gotten, when it's in your lymph nodes, they know that, like I said, it's invasive and it's microscopic. The cancer cells have gotten into your bloodstream. So those little cancer cells can go anywhere and make cancer form anywhere. And when you have cancer and it spreads, if you have cancer in your stomach and it spreads to your lungs, they don't call it lung cancer. It's still like stomach cancer. They call it wherever it originated at. So, but you know, my mom could have had it in her kidneys. It could have been anywhere. It could have been in her like leg, they told us. And those don't show up on any scans. They cannot see the microscopic cancer cells on any scans, but they know that they were there because it was in the lymph node, and the lymph nodes take things straight into the bloodstream. If it had been in any of her organs, she would have been a stage 4. Because they didn't see growth in any other organs, they were classifying her as, like I said, a late stage 3. Which means that we could beat it. There was some concern, so this is where I'm getting to the updates. I have not talked about some of this. So they found some on her lungs, some tiny little spots on her lungs. They said it did look like it could just be scar tissue. My grandfather smoked for a long time when my mom was a kid, and it's like something common you see in people with secondhand smoke damage. So keep that in mind. My mom's never smoked, but yet she's got like these little damage to her lungs from being exposed to secondhand smoke. And you can also get it from being exposed to third-hand smoke, which is the smoke that lingers on clothing and in fabrics like cars. And so my mom they were like, because your father was a smoker, because you lived with that, you know, even though my grandpa did quit a while back, you know, she still was like that as a little kid. They were like, you know, we think it's just scar tissue, but we didn't know. So if it turned out, so then they were like, we're gonna start you on the chemo. They decided in my mom's situation to do chemo first because the tumor was so big and so invasive and had spread to her lymph nodes, so they knew it was in the bloodstream. There's no way, they've changed, they used to not do it like this, but they've changed how they do cancer treatments now, I guess. Like, there's different ways of thinking, things are different. So if you have a relative who had breast cancer, even the same kind or the same stage as my mom 10 years ago, they might have taken a different approach, but this is how they do it now. Basically, in my mom's situation, they weren't trying to get rid of the tumor with the chemo. They knew that wasn't going to happen. It was too big, and it was so fast growing. They said that you could basically see the cells multiplying under the microscope. It was so fast growing. So they wanted to do chemo first because they needed to try to zap all those microscopic cancer cells. And then they also were gonna check those little spots in her lungs. If those spots shrunk from the chemo, that would mean that they were tumor spots, which would mean that my mom was stage 4. But if they stayed the same, it would mean that they were scar tissue, and yay, that's good. And then, so basically the chemo was to zap, not because they were trying to shrink the tumors they knew she had, it was to get all of the little microscopic cancer cells that they can't see. So she started chemo. She did, I don't remember how many rounds of, they call it the Red Devil. It is the strongest, most harsh chemotherapy that a person can be on. And my mom had it every Friday for 4 to 6 times. I can't remember. Her hair fell out after just within the first week. She did really well on it though. She, you know, nowadays they have all these cocktails for people who go on chemo that really help them. They actually have a shot that my mom would take that encourages white blood cell growth. So you ache because your bones are creating white blood cells, but you're creating white blood cells, extra ones. And so when people have cancer, their white blood cells are destroyed from the chemo. And so they are really susceptible to getting sicknesses. But because they have this new medicine that like makes them do, and it's just better. It is just so much better than it used to be. Not that we have experience with the old, but it's just, you know, grateful for that. And then they also have, they've just, you know, every year they get better at perfecting like this cocktail of medicine that helps people not be as nauseous. She did that, and then after that we finished that up after Christmas. And then she went on to a lesser harsh form. Or maybe my mom went on I think the Red Devil was every like 2 or 3 weeks. I think that's what it was. I don't remember, you guys. I'm sorry, I don't remember the timeline. It's in the old videos. But then on the newer form, which is less harsh, they put her on it. It was, this one I know. It was every Friday for 12 weeks. And so she finished that 2 weeks ago, something like that. She finished it. As soon as she finished it, they did the scans again. And they saw that the spots on her lungs stayed the same. So they're scar tissue. Her tumor has shrunk over 60%. Now, that was like, the doctor was shocked, was surprised because, oh, and that was by like the halfway point, by the way. The tumor had shrunk that much. That was after that Red Devil stuff. It has shrunk that much. They did not expect that, and they were glad. Like I said, they're not trying to shrink her tumor. They don't care if it shrinks. They're going to remove it. But knowing, they said if it was strong enough to shrink a tumor, especially that much, then they could basically conclude that it probably, more than likely, destroyed all the microscopic cancer cells running around the rest of my mom's body. So anyway, when we did the rescan, the same thing. It did not get rid of some of those little tiny tumors in her lymph nodes, which was like weird to me. I was like, how did they not get rid of those whatever. But it doesn't matter. They said it's okay because they're removing them. So my mom's gonna have surgery. So that is, you know, she did all her scans, they did all that. My mom has been, while she's had cancer, this is other cancer patients do this, all cancer patients do this. She has a cardiologist and her heart is in great shape, so that is wonderful. She has to, you know, she's had kidneys checked out. Everything gets checked out when you are doing chemo and you have cancer. And so they know a lot. My mom knows probably a lot more about her situation than she used to. So yeah, because they basically have to make sure that your body's strong enough for some of this treatments and things like that. Now they want to get her for surgery. So she just had her doctor's appointment with the surgeon on Thursday, and they were going to get her in to do her surgery this week. Like, it's Thursday, then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, they were gonna do the surgery. Except for my mom caught a cold. just a cold. She was joking. She was like, I went through chemo for X number of months and like managed to never catch anything, and then I'm done with it and all of a sudden I get a cold, and it's not even that bad. It's just a normal cold, but the surgeon was like, we're gonna wait. So they're doing it next week. When I say they move quick in the cancer world, they really do, and which is a good thing. So my mom's going in for surgery on Monday. Is it Monday the 18th? Whatever day the 18th is. Is it a Monday or Wednesday? I don't remember. I think it's Monday. She's going in for surgery. She's getting a double mastectomy, and they're removing the lymph nodes and things from her armpit area. She will have little drainage tubes, and they'll be in there for about 10 days where we will have to change, like drain the little tubes. Like they're to drain fluid after major surgery. And after about 10 days, if like the fluid level that's leaking out is like less than some amount, then they remove them. The surgeon said that she will heal on the outside faster than the inside. She can't lift anything for 6 weeks. I'm trying to remember the details. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I'll probably talk about those more on surgery day. After the surgery, after, I don't know, it was like 6 weeks or something like that, then she starts on radiation. The radiation is every single day, Monday through Friday, every day on like Monday through Friday for, good Lord. It's like 4 to 6 weeks. I don't remember. I was like, that's a lot. But it's like they have to like, they're coming at this cancer because it was so far along from like every angle possible so that she can beat it. If you guys have been watching the vlogs, you've seen my mom, like for having such a bad form of cancer and doing all the chemo, she has still been working out. She eats really healthy, lots and lots of vegetables and greens and things like that, and her skin always looks amazing. Like I hope that, I'm like, her skin just like is like luminous. They said that the inside of the surgery, like where they've done the surgery, that could take 3 to 6 months to actually heal. It takes a lot longer for the inside to heal, so she just needs to kind of be careful and, you know, as it's healing, and remember that she's healing from all this. But we are basically getting ready to move into the recovery part of having cancer, where she's going to just have beaten it and we're going to move on with our lives. And hopefully by September, 1 year after finding out about all this, like we'll just be like, wow, you remember last year when you had cancer and you beat it? So, and we just want to get back into life, like with her. Like she wants to go, you know, travel and do all these things, and we had already planned things. Like we're going on a trip to Pennsylvania. They were supposed to come with us. I don't think they're going to get to now. We're trying to go to Disney World this fall. They're supposed to come with us. I don't know if they will. I think they actually might be able to do the Disney World trip. I'm really hoping. So there we go. That was, I know it was like 20 minutes long, but I just needed to do a little bit of backstory for people who didn't know, or if you've forgotten. And I wanted to update you guys that, yeah, my mom is moving into the surgery stage. So it's really great. So there's the update. I'm going to continue kind of following her cancer journey. She's got her surgery coming up, and obviously, and a lot of her cancer journey has been during our day in the lives, because we're just capturing it real and raw, and that's how we're doing it. And my mom wanted to capture the journey, so this was something my mom, you know, I asked her right at the start. You know, did I even ask her? I think she told me. I think she was like, you can film this, like we can share this story, you know? And so maybe one time, I don't know if she'll want to, but maybe she'll talk about it from her perspective, from this perspective, because, you know, a lot of this is from the perspective of the family dealing with it, not from her perspective, which she actually has it, you know what I mean? Thank you guys for sitting through it, and we really appreciated your thoughts and prayers, or whatever it is that you've done in support of her. The hashtag that we've been using is GoTeamGrandmaSusie. It's Susie, S-U-S-I-E. I'll put it down below. So if you want to use that hashtag on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, we do see those and we really appreciate them. My mom especially, I've mentioned this in my Periscopes. I don't know if I've mentioned it on here. It means a lot to my mom. Like, it means a lot to me too, to see that kind of kindness, but my mom takes it to heart. So think about that. Like when you guys are doing it, just remember that, like, it's not one of those things that just seems like blanket support and everyone's like, oh, that's nice, and it's just like, that's it. Like, it's like meaningful to my mother. So okay, you guys, thank you for going through all this with us. It's really funny when you vlog the way we do. You just have no idea the direction life is going to take you. You don't know. It's like, you guys are watching our journey and going along this journey with us, and we're going along this journey, but this journey is our real life, and we don't know what's on the next page. You know, we haven't read ahead in the script. It's all real. So we don't know, you know, if someone, you know, we just don't know. And so you guys were surprised and sad and at the same time that we were when this happened, and you guys have been supporting us at the same time we've been supporting her. And it is a very kind thing for you guys to do that. It's very what a neat thing that we can do that in this world. So, all right, you guys, we love everybody, and we will talk to you later.